Hey everyone, it's been a really long hot minute since I did a video on how to make something. Today I am making pie crust. I got the recipe from Sister Pie in Detroit and it is like the easiest thing to do, and I was intimidated to make pie crust for years and years and years. First thing you need, food processor. Makes it way easier than using a pastry brush. I've put 2.5 cups of flour in here, a teaspoon of salt, teaspoon of sugar, 2 sticks of butter cut into chunks, as you can see. And we're just gonna turn this on. We're just gonna blend it. And we want it to come to a consistency of like Parmesan cheese. Open this up and take a look and see how it's like Parmesan cheese. So now I have to go get the cold stuff to mix in. Be right back. So what we have now is 1 cup of ice cold water, and then you're going to take some apple cider vinegar, 1 tablespoon to this cup of water. Or if you really like vinegar, you can do 2 tablespoons, which is usually what I like to do it myself, because we want this to look kind of like really weak apple juice. Put those in, mix it together. See? Really weak apple juice. So then I'm gonna take, hang on, let me come back. Let me bring y'all to me. So we're gonna take this off here at the top. We're gonna put this back on blend, and we're gonna mix our water in. Is that quick? You see, now it's come together. So what I'm going to do now is take that out, split it into 2, wrap them in plastic wrap, and form them into discs. That way it's easier when you pull them out later to roll out the crust. So after it's done setting in the refrigerator, you need to let it sit for at least 60 minutes in the refrigerator, and then you can take it out and roll it. So I'll be back with you later. I forgot that I was doing this tutorial, and I already rolled out my bottom pie crust. As you can see, I cut the excess off. Got my pie crust in a 8 or 9 inch pie plate. I can't remember how big this one is. And what you do with the Sister Pie crust is you roll it out, put it in there. I pinch and cut around the edges, and then just use my fingers to make it pretty. And then you need pie beans. Just take a pack of beans, put them in some aluminum foil, put it down into your pie crust, and really get it down in there firm. And then once you do that, you want to par bake the bottom crust. Oh goodness, I can't remember how long. I want to say it's 15 minutes. But you can look it up on the website, or Google just Sister Pie crust, and it'll tell you right on there how long to cook it. And I think it's at 425, I think for like 10 or 15 minutes. I'll have to double check before I put this in. So one other thing that you want to do is either take a pie crust shield if you have one. I have a lovely one that I got from Pampered Chef from my good friend April, who is a Pampered Chef consultant, and we're just going to put that around the edge there. If you don't have one of those, you can just use aluminum foil, just tear it into strips and wrap it around the outside edge, just to protect your crust so that the outside doesn't get burnt before you get to put your lovely, lovely pie filling in. So I'm going to go throw this in the oven and get to making the pie filling. Get this pie filling going. So I have, gosh, I think a couple of pints here of blueberries, and these are a wee bit on the tart side. So I'm going to add probably 2/3 of a cup of sugar. Oop, get my camera steady here. Okay, so there's 2/3 cups of sugar, and then I have I love my prep bowls. I use my little. Again, I'm a Pampered Chef addict. I get these from Pampered Chef. So my dry ingredients here, I have half a teaspoon of nutmeg, a full teaspoon of roasted ground cinnamon. It's very important. It really ups the flavor when you're making your blueberry pie with a roasted cinnamon. So I'm going to dump these in here. And the last ingredient that I had in this bowl that you can see is some cornstarch to help thicken up the blueberry juices as they come out. Again, better, this pie is so much better when made with actual vanilla bean, but vanilla bean is ridiculously expensive. So to put one of those in here would have been like $12 or $13. So going with a teaspoon of really high quality vanilla extract and then another teaspoon of lemon juice. So we're gonna pour that in, and then we're gonna mix this up real good, get all the blueberries coated. And then when the pie is done par baking, which I double checked, and it is 425 degrees like I thought, and it is for 15 to 20 minutes. You want to get it to start get that golden brown color, but you don't want that deep dark golden brown because you want to add your top to it, however you want to make your top, whether it's a lattice or if you're going to use your cookie cutter and cut out pieces to make a pretty top, or just do a plain top and just poke holes in it, whatever you feel like doing. Then we are going to do that once this is done par baking, and I will be back with you shortly to get that taken care of. All right, see you in a bit. I got my par baked crust out. I let it cool for about 15 minutes before I put the filling in. While I was letting it cool, I cut out the strips, rolled out and cut out the strips of the pie crust to do this lattice top, and then just kind of sticking it to the sides here as best I can so it kind of bakes to that bottom crust. And then I'm going to put this into the oven. I'm going to turn down the heat to 350. I'm going to bake it for 20 minutes, and then at the 20-minute mark I'm going to put that crust protector back around the outside just to keep that from burning while the rest of the pie is cooking. Then once the pie is done, we're going to pull it out, and we need to let it cool for a full 3 hours before we dig in. It needs to cool for that filling to set so it's not completely runny when we try to slice and serve. As long as you wait, you should be able to get perfect pie slices out of this pie crust, and it'll look so pretty on your plate, and it's going to be delicious. My 6-year-old, who's extremely picky, just walked by and said, "That smells so good. I'm definitely trying that later." So let's hope he does. I'll be back with you guys after I get this out of the oven. See you later. After I pull the par-baked crust out, I pull my beans off to the side to let them cool, because I'm not going to use them for cooking, making soup or anything, but I hold on to these anytime that I need it for a par-baked crust, because they can be used over and over and over and over and over again, and it actually smells really good when those beans heat up in the oven. So just a little tip, get a bag, a couple of pounds, always use those whenever you're going to par-bake a crust. You never have to get rid of them. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. I think it is browned enough on top here. Come on out. Oh, yes. Right there. Oh, that looks like heaven. Oh, yes. So good. All right. There is our finished product. Let's see if I can get this thing off here. Burning myself. Look at that. Oof, I get to let it sit. It's really hard to let this sit off the oven. All right, I'll post a picture on my Facebook page later, or Instagram, you know, those fancy things. I'm gonna slice it up later. Toodaloo.